If you have an anxiety disorder, depression, or you have a disability, it is so easy to feel that you do not fit in or you're feeling useless. If you feel this way, you need to change your life around or you will never reach your fullest absolute potential. My name's Nick Tabor, I'm a personal trainer, and I talk about this stuff with mental health, depression, anxiety, fitness, and everything on this channel because I've lived through it. Now, I have cerebral palsy. I have dealt with it for 35 years. I have grown up with it. I've been lucky enough that I've reduced maybe 99% of it. And a lot of the issues that I've had in my life have been physical, and it is so super easy from what I've learned from experience to feel completely useless. And you do not have it, and I know people feel this way. This is one story I'm gonna really try super hard not to cry because it was something that a story that I remembered and it made me feel incredibly emotional coming back home from my parents' house. We were talking about things. When I was younger, I thought about, what am I gonna do in my life? What am I gonna be able to be? And in my formable years, sometime between I was 8 years old until I was about 14, 15, for a good amount of time, one of my best memories was going to Home Depot with my dad. And we would walk down the wood pile aisle and go to smell the lumber. And it was one of the funniest things is like he'd tap me on the side and he just like, smell that. And he'd go, ah. And still to this day, if I smell lumber anywhere, I immediately get relaxed. And it is one of the coolest smells that I've ever had personally. But what we would do is we would go to a wood pile, we would go to the cull wood. And the cull wood would be stuff that's a little bit warped or maybe it's a little snapped. And he would walk in there and he'd look at the pile and see something that was obviously severely discounted because he couldn't sell it at this big, hardware store. You couldn't sell it based, on, in the general population. So he would look at these things and he would look at pieces of wood and he always had a project he wanted to do. And whether it was twisted, he's like, okay, yeah, we could do something with that. He'd look at it and he would explain to me, he says, Nick, man, you gotta look at it this way. No matter what, there is a purpose for this wood. Whether it's twisted, whether it has a little bit of an issue, maybe it has a hole in it, we can make use of everything. And it hit me the other day exactly why he was saying that. And I was so bloody grateful. I'm driving home, my eyes are pouring out water constantly. I'm like, I'm going on the highway. I'm like, I love my daddy. I love my dad so much. He was so good to me. Because I was twisted. My arm was way up here. My leg was way back here. I'm walking. My wife is a little off screens. That's why she was laughing. And this is a story that's been told by my ex-chiropractor a lot. Yes. And when you have like your arm way up here and you have people pick on you, you have different, people say different things, and people want to be able to project something on you, their life, their hatred, their thing. It's not about you particular, it's about them. You got to remember that. But once I started to relax it, and I started to grow strength, and then I started to be able to overcome the disability and overcome the anxiety, depression, I found purpose through the entirety of my life, and then I ended up being a lot better. That Cullwood pile was something that was incredibly brilliant to me. It was something like, no matter what, I want you to know, no matter what, you always have a purpose in life. Everybody has a purpose and has an ability to serve their fellow human beings. Evan Carmichael is right. If you serve who you want to serve. If you find a way to serve yourself, to serve others, and to be able to do better, and you can do great things. This is for the kids. I wish somebody told me this when I was your age. When I was about 13, at my angriest that I ever was, the fact where I cry out, God, why the hell did you do this to me? What happened? I had a different purpose. I didn't realize my purpose yet, but I realized that this disability of what I had gave me a different way of life, and I used my mindset that I had. Maybe my body wasn't working as right, but my mind can do things, and I developed a good sense of humor because of it. I developed a good life attitude because of it. I developed a faith because of it too. And it allowed me to talk to people who maybe didn't get that voice that I've had. I got very, very, very lucky in my life because my parents were awesome. Like, they were really, really awesome with everything that I've had to do. And I think back to that Colwood pile, no matter how twisted, no matter how weird it was, there was always a purpose for that piece of wood my dad brought home, no matter what it is. And it ended up fitting a workbench. Maybe it was something that ended up fixing a table or whatever happened, or something I took over and, started to learn how to drill and do things. Everything has purpose, and you have to remember that too. It is not going to be very, very easy, and it's very, very hard to find a purpose. But at this point, you got to remember, you are not useless because of your anxiety. You are not useless because of your depression, because of your disability. You are a person who has a very, very, very unique perspective on life, and you can help others because of it. So what we want you to do is we want you to do the best you possibly can. I want you to be able to do a few steps. Here is how you can find that you are very useful. What you can do, number one, what we got to do is we've got to explore, and we've got to explore at things. And this is, again, if you're 13, 14 years old, I'm talking to you directly. Maybe, and also if you're adults, if you're in this situation, maybe you haven't found something that you go, okay, maybe this is not what I want to do, right? I put myself into things, I've had a job, but you're angry at that point, right? You're angry that you have this disability. You're angry that you have anxiety. You're angry that you have depression, maybe, or something that is just, you're not reaching the fullest yet. Number one, explore the heck out of things. Try stuff. Try new things. If you find something in general that you absolutely love, that is a key of what happens. Remember back when you were a kid, everybody asks, what do you want to do when you're 5 years old, when you're 6 years old or something? What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do when you grow up? And some people, through life, I remember, girls saying they want to be a homemaker. Some people want to be a great cook, an astronaut, policeman, blah, 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 blah. I think for me, it was always I wanted to be a teacher. No matter what, right at my core, I had that thing in my head. I want to teach. This is where I was comfortable. Every time, if I had a bully situation, a teacher always put something in the right perspective. If I found my purpose in that, and I said, I could do this. And I explored and I found different ways to be able to teach and what I can do. I'm like, I don't really want to put a lot of time in school and get my master's degree. Geez, that's expensive. But you know what I could do right now? Lately, I could go on YouTube and I could teach, or I could do these. I could do these things where I could go, okay, great, let's see what I could do. I could do these videos and people get out there and people will learn from my message and, we'll talk about it. A guy who has cerebral palsy could do great things. But what I also found was physical fitness worked. So personal training was very, very natural. I'm a black belt. I do great things. I'm in damn good shape. I like to teach. Boom, boom, boom. It all fit perfectly. I fall into that and I naturally coach and naturally lead my day job. I am a manager and I spend a lot of my time coaching people how to do better things with their life. Along with, 50 billion other fucking things that I do. In general. And all that stuff, right? What we want to do is we want to be sure we explore and we find these things and take your time with this. You've got all those things you want to do, but those build up for a reason, right? You want to build up and you want to say, hey, I'm going to do really, really great things. 2, while we've explored, we do that and we find things. What we want to do is expect to suck. You expect that you're not going to be great at things, but there's a little inkling that says, I kind of like this. But you're not really good at it at first. It's going to take a while to get really good at it, but what you're going to have to do is explore and expect it and try things. And you know what? I don't like doing what I'm doing, but I'm not really great at it right now. But you know what you're going to do is you're going to put the energy into it. You're going to do what you can do, and you're going to find that usefulness, and you're going to find people who need to solve that problem. The world's biggest problem that I'm trying to do is trying to solve where people who have disabilities, anxiety, and depression, make sure that they find their purpose as well. And this is the thing, people turn too much to drugs and medication in order to overcome things. I personally believe, while that is definitely needed, what you need to do is you need to do different ways to get to lessen the blow. Pills are not the first answer, possibly, but do other things in order to grow, in order to do great things. You do great things. You do hard, precious things because you love it, because you want to do things. That leads to number 3. You got to remember, if you want to find your purpose and usefulness, if you have anxiety, depression, or disability, what you've got to do, let's go ahead and do hard things. You expect to suck at it, you're exploring, you do that, okay, fine. This is really difficult. Okay. But that hadn't stopped you before. Look, well, what was really difficult for me when I was 5 years old? Opening a door with this hand. Or even waving at first, or waving or something. Or doing things that were very, very difficult. Was just shaking hands with someone. That's hard, but what's hard right now is not going to be hard later, okay? You're going to be awesome. I know it, okay? Now, everybody has a purpose in your life. Find what you love with an exploration. Go ahead and expect to suck, right? And everything else is going to fall into place, right? Do the hard things. Do that tough thing that you do and keep going. You're going to be awesome, all right? We want to say much love to you. There's a lot of other videos on this channel I think you'll find very useful. I want you to go check out one right here. It's right over my left shoulder. Go ahead and do that, right? I'll see you there, and as always, we climb.